started.
Right.
Should be started by now. Yes, it is. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our sanctuary. Today we are going to be continuing our journey in Trails of Cold Steel. We left off after being asked to do a favor for our instructor, so let us get a move on. First off, though, we are gonna go to the library first. If I remember correctly, the Student Union building should be to the east of the main building. Doesn't seem like this is too urgent though, so maybe I'll head over after familiarizing myself with the campus. There's more to Thor's than just the main building and all its classrooms. There are many other facilities located on campus. The auditorium is used for events like the entrance ceremony. Although this building is normally closed, it will be open during certain events. The field is home to more athletic activities such as practical exams. Many sports clubs such as lacrosse and riding clubs use the area to practice too. The gymnasium is used for general training purposes. There you'll find a pool and a training hall. Those two facilities are managed by the swimming and fencing clubs respectively. As such, the gym's usually a lively spot. The engineering building is the de facto place for ordnance maintenance and is managed by the engineering club. While you can't enter for now, you'll find yourself here again and again during your time at Thor's. The library holds a variety of papers and books for your perusal and serves as a handy space for study and research. You can also go here to brush up on all the Zemirian terminology you can handle. Student Union Building is a place for students to relax and unite. The first floor houses some stores and a cafeteria. You'll find culture clubs on the second floor, and even a salon reserved for upper class students on the third. Occasionally you will see event markers displayed on characters and places. These show that an event will take place there. Red, key events required to advance a story. Green, quest events related to a quest that is not mandatory. Now, in regards to that, there is something it did not mention. There are hidden quests within the game that you can very easily miss. And it becomes a real pain if you do, because you miss out on a lot of activities in it. In the library, you'll find books detailing key terminology on the second floor and a recommended reading corner on the first. The recommended reading corner is updated almost every month, so it's worth checking in on a regular basis. What's more, many books you read will be added to the book tab of your notebook for future reference. You can access the Book tab by pressing the touchpad button or choosing Note and then Books from the camp menu. Imperial Railways, a history. Which the Orbital Revolution of 50 years ago had a profound effect on Erebonia, much as it did on other nations in the continent. Much is made of its impact on weaponry, but I believe its influence on transport was equally noteworthy. Specifically, the Orbital Revolution allowed the creation of railways for the first time. Before the Orbital Revolution, there were only 3 methods of transport available to Imperial citizens: horse, boat, and walking. Consider the sheer size of Erebonia, the situation was far from ideal. Traveling from the Imperial capital of Heimdall to Mareahard, the capital of the Kreuzen province, for example, took 10 days on foot and 4 days by horse. Such long journeys would be impossible to imagine for the Erebonian citizens of today. Changing all that, however, was the Orbital Revolution's transformation of manufacturing, making the creation of mechanical engines possible for the first time. This marked a key turning point in the history of transportation, and Erebonia's first use of these engines was the invention of the train. Septian Calendar 1158. The first orbitally powered vehicle to run on rail tracks was developed through the combined efforts of Professor G. Schmidt, a leading disciple of the Professor Epstein, and the Reinford factory, known at the time as a weapons manufacturer. Septian Calendar 1160. The freight line between Ruhr City and the Sachsen iron mines was completed. Septian Calendar 1165. The first passenger railway connecting Heimdall and Ruhr began operation. As a result of these developments, the concept of the Orbital Railway became widely known throughout the nation, and by 1175, a wide-reaching railway network had been created with Heimdall at its center. This rail nexus effectively connected the imperial capital with all of the major provincial capitals. This was followed soon after by the establishment of railways in other nations on the continent, eventually leading to the creation of the Transcontinental Railroad 20 years ago, which has made transporting people, goods, and information all over the continent significantly easier. There is no doubt that the orbitally powered airships invented by the Liberal Kingdom and the family automobiles developed in the Calvard Republic are also wonderful inventions. However, a half a century after the Orbital Revolution, it is an incontestable fact that the railways are the most important method of transport. S. Reinman. Red Imperial Railways, a history. Its contents were added to the book notes. That's one of the things that can be considered missable, considering if you don't get it on the first one, you actually miss out on some points for the story. And now that that's done, that's the only thing that you could consider to be missable. So now we go over here to the Student Union building.
This should be the Student Union building. I know the cafeteria is on the first floor, but I wonder where the Student Council room is.
Hey there, first year. How's it going? Academy life been treating you well this past half month?
Oh, yeah, it has. Guess he must be a second year. It's not easy, but I'm managing. Mostly. Though I have a feeling it's only going to get harder from here on out.
Of course it will. Your class is going to be more intense than the others still. But you just hang in there, okay?
Okay. Wait. You're a second-year student, aren't you? Do you mind if I ask your name?
Hey now, let's not get ahead of ourselves. First things first, how about you let me show you this cool trick I've been practicing?
Trick?
You got a 50 mirror coin I can borrow?
I think so. Pretty sure I do, anyway.
Cheers. All right, watch closely.
Huh?
Now, which hand is the coin in? Left or right?
It's in your...
Here's another choice that we get to make. However, this choice does not really matter for anything because unfortunately they're both
Too
incorrect.
bad.
Guess you win. I'm usually pretty good at following moving objects, too. Though, wait. You said this was a trick, which means...
You catch on quick.
Huh?
Keep up the good work, man. You're gonna need to be pretty tough to get through a year with Sarah as your instructor. Oh, and the student council room is on the second floor, furthest room back. See you around. Have a good weekend.
Wait! My 50... He got me. Andy seemed to know I was heading to the student council room, too. Somehow. Guy's good. I haven't met many of the second years yet. I wonder if they're all like that. Oh well. At least now I know where I'm going. Though if it really is open late, I guess there's no real rush. I might as well see what else people are up to in here.
There's really nothing else that you can end up missing out on at this point. So, on the first floor of the Student Union building, you'll find both the cafeteria and the campus store. As you might expect, cafeteria sells a number of different kinds of food. Meanwhile, the store sells combat equipment like weapons and recovery items. This makes it the best place to stock up on supplies or buy new equipment on campus. Hey there, have you come for something to eat? There are 3 things to know about our cafeteria. Food is cheap, delicious, and served quickly, and we're proud of it. So if there's anything you want to order, you just let me know. Only unfortunate thing is they only got 2 things, which does kind of suck, but it's not that big of a deal. And here, they are still trying to set it up, so unfortunately you can't even buy anything from here yet. So, as much as it's said you can look around and see what goes on, there's really not much to see. There's the literature club right there. There's the lower class chess, Imperial Fishing. That room is empty for now. Here's the photography club. And this is the student council room. This looks like the place. There's definitely still someone inside. I can sense it. Hope I'm not interrupting.
Hello? Please come in. It's open.
I recognize that voice. Pardon the interruption. Oh, you're that girl.
It's been about 2 weeks, hasn't it? Welcome to the student council room, Reen Schwarzer. Instructor Sarah sent you, right?
Yes. So, you're a member of the student council then? I wonder if she got moved up a few years. She looks even younger than Fee.
Is something wrong?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just wondering, are you a second-year student?
I am, but there's no need for formalities with me. There's no junior or senior in my book. The name's Toa Herschel. I'm the student council president.
President?
Uh-huh. Does that surprise you? I'm sure I'll have plenty of opportunities to interact with you and the other first years during your time here. So if there's anything you need help with, you just come and let me know, okay? I'll do everything in my power to make it better.
Thank you. That's very kind. She's seriously the student council president? That's hard to believe. So, the reason I've come here is because you're holding on to something for Class 7, right?
Oh, of course. Here you go. Yours is the one on top.
Let's see. Oh, our student notebooks. I completely forgot about these.
I'm really sorry it's taken so long. Class 7's curriculum is pretty different from any of the other classes. And you're even using a different kind of battle orbment, so yours had to be compiled separately.
Meaning these notebooks have information in them about...
The Arcus, yes. All the student notebooks double as instruction manuals for their accompanying battle orbments. And the other first years are all using the same type as last year, so we could just reuse last year's template. But the Arcus type you're using works quite differently, so we had to write a whole new set of directions from scratch.
Okay, that makes sense. But wait, who's we?
Pretty much just me. Instructor Sarah asked me to do it on her behalf. Which means it's my fault this has taken so long. I'm really sorry.
Oh, no. If anything, it sounds like we owe you a huge debt of gratitude for putting so much time and effort into it. Is that really part of the student council's job, though? It seems more like something our instructor should be handling herself.
Technically, you're right. But she's always so busy. And I help out the other instructors a lot, too. So I don't mind lending her a hand from time to time.
What a nice person. Maybe a little too nice for her own good. I doubt she ever gets a moment's rest around here. So, you just need me to give these to the other students in Class 7, right?
Yes, please. I really appreciate what you've all agreed to do.
Huh? What do you mean?
I heard all about it from Instructor Sarah. She said you've agreed to help out the student council with our work, right? It's such a nice gesture. You're really getting Class 7 off to a great start here at the Academy.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Didn't you tell her that you wanted to help ease our workload? Something about wanting to better yourselves? To prove you were worthy of being a part of this prestigious new class? She said you were all really eager to help out, so I should try to delegate some of my duties to you.
Thank you, my dear. I leave everything in your capable hands.
Why, indeed.
I'm sorry. Did I misunderstand her or something? Oh, how embarrassing. I didn't mean to start trying to force work onto you when you've only just enrolled.
There's no way I can turn her down. No. Instructor Sarah's absolutely right. Your plate is as full as I've seen, so if I can help you in any way, please let me.
Phew. I thought there had been a terrible misunderstanding there for a moment. But don't worry, I won't give you anything too difficult. It'll mostly just be fulfilling requests from people in the Academy and in Trista.
Requests?
Yep. Sometimes people send in feedback and list things they'd like us to do for them. And we try to help out however we can. I'll pick some up for you to do by the end of the day. And drop the list in your mailbox at your dorm tomorrow morning. Will that be okay with you?
Sure thing. Thanks. Dusk already? What a day. Can't believe she wound up treating me to dinner in the cafeteria. And she's still got more student council work to do yet. How is she so busy? Hello? This is Rien Schwarzer speaking.
Guten Tag, my favorite little Wunderkind. I hear you had a nice little dinner date with the student council president. Ooh la la.
If this is how you treat your favorite little Wunderkind, I dread to think how you treat people you don't like. Would you care to explain why you've been signing me up for things behind my back?
I'll skip the details for now, but it's got something to do with the other part of your curriculum that I'll be announcing next week. I thought it'd be a good chance for one of you to do a little rehearsal before the main event. And since the student council truly is busy, I figured, why not kill two birds with one stone? A fine plan, if I do say so myself.
I have a feeling half the reason they're as busy as they are is because of certain instructors. But alright, I'm happy to play along. Basically, you just want me to spend my free day tomorrow helping the student council.
Oh, that's entirely up to you. If there's a club you're interested in joining, far be it from me to force you away from it.
No, to be honest, I still haven't found one that really clicks with me, so that won't be a problem. There is one question I'd like to ask, though. Why me, exactly? This seems like the kind of task typically entrusted to the class president or vice president, so Emma or Machias. And even if you were choosing based on social class, Eustace and Laura were both born into noble families. So what makes me so special, exactly?
Well, in a sense, you're effectively at the center of Class 7.
Pardon?
I'm not saying you're its leader, of course. But in a class full of nobles, commoners, and exchange students, you in particular are special. Surely even you can see that, no?
Well...
That's why I decided to give you first dibs, so to speak. I wanted to get an idea of how things might go from here on out. There's never been a class like yours before, after all. So there you have it. The beans have been spilled all over the place. Ball's in your court now.
Wait, what are you drinking?
Beer, of course. It's the weekend and I'm stuck wasting away in my room, imbibing libations. Alas, all by my lonesome. If only I had a classy gentleman friend who'd go out drinking with me. But woe of woes, such a man is nary to be found.
Are you okay?
Never better. But you, instead of trying to put everything in its place, why don't you just go with the flow for a change? It seems like you're desperately trying to find something. But if you don't plant yourself somewhere, you're just gonna blow away with the next big gust that comes along. And on that note, make sure you're back in the dorm by curfew, and all transgressions will be forgiven. Toodle!
If I don't plant myself somewhere, huh? She may have a few screws loose, but she's got a point. Maybe I should just try going with the flow and see what comes of it.
Unconventional Studies, Chapter 1. Afterwards, Rain returned straight to the dormitory. After relaxing in his room for a while, he decided to walk around the dorms. You can now view the overall achievements and character tabs of your notebook. Both can be accessed by pressing the touchpad or choosing Note from the camp menu and then selecting their respective tabs. Alright, President Toa left me in charge of handing out everybody's notebooks. Tomorrow's our first free day, so I should get this done with tonight. You can explore Class 7's dorms on the night before each free day. Be aware, however, the story will progress should you return to Reen's room. And with that, as you all can see here, we are now on Chapter 1 of the game. These are all the enemies we fought in the old schoolhouse earlier. Now we can check stats on different characters of the game. We have started some of the books. There's the active voice line, there's the help. So now, let us be off. Who is it? It's me, Rean. I've got something here for you. I'll be right there. Rean handed Machias his student notebook. Sorry to make you go through all that trouble. Don't worry about it. Were you in the middle of studying there? I'm sorry if I interrupted you. No need to be sorry for that. How did you know I was studying, though? You've got pencil marks all over the sides of your hand. Well then, you should make sure to do plenty of studying yourself. You don't want to find yourself falling behind. Yeah, I suppose you're right. Most of our classes seem like they'll be pretty hard, too. Agreed. Besides, it'll be a chance to show up that snobby upper-class students. I'll see you tomorrow, then. Yeah, good night. Hey there, Rean. Something the matter? Toa gave me Class 7 student notebooks to hand out earlier, so I'm just going around delivering those. Here's yours, Elliot. Oh, thanks. Anyway, were you playing the violin here? Sorta, it's pretty late, so I wasn't really playing per se, just doing the fingering and motions. The wind orchestra isn't meeting tomorrow, so I thought I should get in some practice tonight instead. Wow, you're really into your music, huh? Can't imagine most people being that invested in their hobbies. The room's chock full of musical stuff, too. It's not that much, honestly. It'd be nice if the walls in these dorms were a bit more soundproof, though. Then I'd be able to play all night without bothering anyone. I understand that feeling. Spoken like a true music nerd. Evening, Rean. What's up? Just looking for you. I've got your student notebook here. Here you go. I was wondering when Dad'd come. Thanks. Sorry to make you go out of your way to deliver it. No worries. Your room's got a really distinctive feel to it, though. What's that hanging on the wall? That's sort of an ornament made in the Nord Highlands. Thought it'd be nice to bring the spirit of my homeland along with me. I say, it really does give the whole room an exotic feel. You've got your brushes out too, so I'm guessing you're going to spend tomorrow painting? And planning to head over to the art club. Feel free to come along if you feel like it. Haha, will do. This should be Eustace's room. Who's there? It's me, Rean. I've got your student notebook here. Very well. Rean handed Eustace his student notebook. You have my thanks. Don't mention it. Mind if I ask what you were up to? I was simply reading. Oh, what kind of book? A biography I borrowed from the library. Why must I indulge your mundane little questions? Huh? Well, we may live in the same dorm. The two of us are perfect strangers. Your proximity to me does not give you license to intrude on my private life. You're right. I'm sorry about that. Pay it no mind. Also, I suggest you be more mindful of when and to whom you volunteer your time. Otherwise, people will be more than happy to simply use you at every turn. Was that meant to be a warning? He doesn't seem like an easy guy to make friends with, that's for sure. But maybe he's got a good heart. Before I go upstairs, if I remember correctly... Yep. Talk to Sarah. You really can't beat nice cold beer after work. No, wait, maybe you can. With 2 ice cold beers. Have you been drinking all night? At least try not to fall asleep here, okay? I don't want you to catch a cold. Don't you worry your pretty little head about me. I'm indestructible. Especially since I've got the day off tomorrow. You say that like it totally excuses your entire night of drinking. Well, anyway, you were nice enough to take on some work for the student council, so that's a load off my shoulders. Looking forward to seeing how you perform tomorrow. Right. Wow, she went from plastered to bastard in the blink of an eye. Looks like there's a lot more to her than I thought. Now we go upstairs to the girls' rooms. We will start here. This should be Fee's room. Who's there? It's me, Rean. I've got something here for you. Coming. Rean handed Fee her student notebook. Cheers. Go on. Oh, were you asleep? I didn't mean to wake you up. It's fine. I'm surprised you went to sleep this early, though. I mean, we just had dinner. Didn't have anything else to do. You done? Yeah. Just wanted to give you the notebook. Right. She's a unique one, that girl. I wonder how she ended up a student here anyway. Next up, this should be Emma's room. Yes? Who is it? It's me, Rean. Do you have a moment? Rean, I'll be right there. Rean handed Emma her student notebook. Thank you. Oh, on an unrelated note, how are you planning on spending the day tomorrow? I'm thinking I'll help out the student council. How about you? I plan on looking at some more clubs. Haven't seen what the culture clubs have to offer yet, so I'll be visiting them tomorrow. Alright, joining a club does sound like a good idea. Let me know if any of them seem really good. Alright, I will. Also, I do hope you're able to make up with Elisa soon. Yeah, I'm going to try to talk to her again later. Good luck, but don't try to rush things either. I think Elisa still needs to sort out her feelings about everything. But don't worry, I'm sure it will all work out in the end. Thanks. Good night, Emma. Good night. Thank you for bringing me my notebook, too. There should be Laura's room. Hey, Laura, are you in there? Is that you, Rean? I'll be right there. Rean handed Laura her student notebook. Thank you for taking the time to deliver it to me. Don't worry about it. What are you doing anyway? You didn't hear me knocking? You're covered in sweat. I was just practicing with a wooden sword. I must have been so focused on my practice that I didn't hear you knock at first. That's some concentration, alright. Maybe I should do some practicing when I get back to my room, too. You certainly don't want to neglect your training. I'd enjoy it if I had someone to duel with sometime, too. Well then, good night. Good night. And last but not least, need to give Alyssa her student notebook, too. Right, here goes. Who is it? It's me, Rean. Well, what do you want? What are you even thinking coming to some innocent girl's room this late at night? Okay, good point. I wouldn't have under normal circumstances, but there's something I need to give you. Rean explained that Toa asked him to hand out everybody's student notebooks. Oh, okay, wait a moment. Hurry up and hand it over. Alright, just hold on a sec. Took out Elisa's notebook. It should be this one. Let's see. Elisa, right. Don't read that! Elisa snatched the student notebook out of Rean's hands. I can't let my guard down around you for a second, can I? Sorry, can't tell which notebook is which without looking inside. Really didn't mean any harm. Or so you say. Anyway, that's all you wanted, isn't it? Good night, then. Guess I'll have to back off for tonight. But it seems that R is just an initial. Didn't finish reading her full name before she snatched it out of my hands, though. Is there a reason she's hiding it? And with that, that is everything that we can do at this point in time. So, should I call it a day? Choosing to rest will cause the date to change and the main story to advance. Yes, let us skip. Student Council task for April. As you see right here, Old Schoolhouse Mystery. It's a required one, Principal Van Dyke. I have reason to believe that strange phenomena have been occurring in the old schoolhouse of late. As such, I would like to request that one or more combat-ready students look into this and report back to me. For more details, come see me in my office on the first floor of the main building. Principal Van Dyke. Orbital delivery. George, I've just finished repairing a bunch of orbital tech here at the engineering club, but I need someone to deliver everything. Stop by the engineering building, left of the student union building, and I'll tell you more. George, year 2, class 3. A noteworthy loss. Colette. I kind of dropped my student notebook and now I can't find it anywhere. Would anyone be willing to help me look? I'll be looking for it on the first floor of the student union building, and I'd really appreciate it if someone lent me a hand. Colette, year 1, class 4. One from the principal, one from the engineering club. Oh, hey, and one from another first year. Certainly wasn't expecting a request from the principal as one of my very first assignments. Hope I don't screw it up. I'm curious about that one from the engineering club too. Sounds interesting. Well, I've got all day, so let's just dive in, I guess. You can now view the quest tab in your notebook. The quest tab automatically records the progress of all quest extracurricular activities you undertake. It can be accessed by pressing the touchpad buttons or by choosing Note in the camp menu followed by quests. Some quests must be completed in order to advance the main story. These quests have a REQ mark next to their name, and the story will progress only once they've been completed. Quests without this mark are not essential for advancement and will disappear from the list if not undertaken in a timely manner. Receive 2 bonding points. About bonding events. On free days, special events can be triggered with certain classmates and sub-characters. These are called bonding events. 1 point will be consumed each time you view an event, but your bond with that character will be strengthened. When the time of day advances to evening, all daytime bonding events and quests will no longer be available. In exchange, you will receive 1 bonus point, which can be used to trigger an evening exclusive bonding event. On your free days, you can use bonding points to participate in bonding events. Different bonding events will be available during the daytime and evening. In the evenings on your free days, you will receive an additional. So, now that we got that, let's take care of one of the bonding events first. If I can remember which button it is for this. Okay, maybe I just need to step outside first. The weather is beautiful today. Right then, let's head out. At the center of Trista is a shopping district. You can purchase a variety of items in the stores there. Brandon's General Goods stocks ingredients and accessories. Lesage is a boutique selling clothing, footwear, and accessories. Kane's bookstore sells reading materials such as newspaper and obviously books. Kirsch's Cafe and Inn stocks food items. You can also pay a small fee to rest here and restore your craft points. You can now use the square button to access the quick travel menu. When in a town, you can use the square button to access the quick travel menu. Selecting a location allows you to travel there instantly. You can also see characters' locations as well as whether they have a bonding event available. If you see nothing next to them, no event, or you've already viewed this character's event, and if there is one, an event is available. So, for now, we see that we need to go to the dormitory for one of these events. It is for Elliot. Phew. You're looking pretty busy there, Elliot. Yeah, just got some packages from home. Heavy ones at that. Just carried them up here and I'm already totally beat. I can believe that. Seems like there's food in one of these two, so I should probably look through them. Well, I am already here. Should I give him a hand? Yes. You look like you could use a hand. Mind if I help out? Really? You would? Well, I'd sure appreciate it. Reed and Elliot began sorting out the packages that Elliot received from home. Whew. Well, we're done with about half of them now. Didn't expect there to be quite this much of everything. Has to be a month's worth of food here, not to mention a bunch of clothes and other daily necessities. Didn't expect this either. Now I feel bad for dragging you into this. My sister's way too protective of me sometimes. Oh, you have a sister? Yeah, an older one. She's always been a bit on the clingy side too. I mean, I'm grateful that she sent me a care package, but I wish she'd tone it down a bit. I'm not a kid anymore. You mean it? I think it's kind of nice, actually. You can tell that she really cares about you. Haha, really? Oh. Elliot took a worn-looking piece of sheet music out of the box. Is that sheet music? Looks like someone got a lot of use out of it. Yeah, I used to practice with this all the time back home. Tell you the truth, I actually wanted to enter a musical academy before I ended up here. Oh, really? Then I guess joining the wind orchestra wasn't just a casual thing for you, huh? Well, I've always loved music ever since I was younger. But in the end, I wasn't all that serious about it, so I ended up choosing Thor's instead of a music academy. Weird. Really? Well, either way, it's nice to hear you play that piece sometimes. Sure, one of these days. Reed and Elliot returned to sorting out the packages, only getting through with the strength of their combined efforts. Your bond with Elliot strengthened. So now, while we're out here, let's also grab a couple of random collectibles that we're going to need. This is another one of the students from the school. She's a very nice girl, but she does have a interesting accent, as I'm sure you can see from how she's speaking. Especially right there, because sometimes it can get a little confusing to know what the hell this chick is saying. So we can buy 4 things here. Imperial Chronicle 1. Relaxation Through Music. Legram's Guidebook. And a touching painting. We can also sell some of the random items that we have as well. But it's not that big of a deal right now. Now, we also end up talking with this guy. Have you heard of Red Moon Rose? It's a pretty popular novel these days. As a matter of fact, I happen to have the first chapter of it right here. Why not give it a read? Red Moon Rose, Chapter 1. This is another one of the many missables that you can easily pass up without even realizing it. It's kind of partly why the game is kind of incentivizing you to talk to everybody. Because you never know what you're going to miss, or what you can find, or what you may unlock. So, I'm going to try and cover absolutely everything that we can, so that way whoever ends up choosing to play the game does not end up missing anything. But Imperial Chronicle, Issue 1. Politics. Annual budget announced. The government today held a press conference to reveal its annual budget to the nation. At the same time, new plans to expand the military were announced, including the strengthening of the armored divisions, reaffirming earlier statements made by Chancellor Osborne. With the neighboring Calvard Republic continuing to expand its own armed forces, this seems an appropriate reaction, and a duty of a great nation such as ours. Reaction of the Imperial Diet. Both the House of Representatives and House of Peers meet to debate the budget in Heimdall. The House of Representatives voted unanimously in favor of the budget and military expansion plan, but the House of Peers remained fiercely critical of both proposals through the debates. I pray that His Majesty decides in the best interest of this nation. House of Peers President. However, with His Majesty leaving decisions regarding the budget in the hands of the Chancellor, it seems unlikely that it will be overturned. Imperial Governor Regnitz speaks. In response to an Imperial Chronicle report outside City Hall, Governor Regnitz had this to say about the budget debate. The proposals have my full approval. Much has been made of the military aspects, but taken as a whole, I feel the budget is remarkably well balanced. It seems apparent to me that His Excellency has a clear vision for how to proceed in modernizing this country. Governor Regnitz. Society, the Imperial Transportation Act. It has been a year since the Imperial Transportation Act was enacted in Heimdall. The law was drafted with the expectation that the number of orbital cars in the city would continue to increase. But how have our dear readers reacted to the bill? We have found that the majority seem to be in favor of the new law, though some have argued that giving the cars of commoners regard equal to that of the nobility makes little sense. City Hall PR representative who supported the law. The imperial government maintains that the laws have successfully been in reducing the number of motoring accidents and aims to eventually introduce it in the rest of the country. Culture, Celtic Grand Market. The eastern town of Celtic is best known for the Grand Market, which is held regularly throughout the year. This year's spring market is bustling as usual and has attracted large numbers of tourists and merchants. But what is it that makes the market so lively? Because the town is located on a trade route that has been long vital to this nation, is the opinion of Otto the market manager. He believes that Celtic's position as an interchange station where passengers can transfer from the Transcontinental Railroad to national lines makes it easily accessible for visitors from both outside and inside the country. Whatever the reason, the market's popularity is showing no signs of letting up. Spotlight. Welcome to the RF store. Our goal is to deliver the latest Reinford Group products. We're your one-stop orbital technology shop. And I'm sure you guys might have seen that notice at the top left of my screen. That was because someone had joined the party. I don't know if they have their settings to be heard. But hello, Mega. Sorry, I was kind of reading something since I'm live streaming right now. Yeah, Serial's here. He's just doing his usual thing where he's away from his mic, not paying attention when people are joining. You know how he is. Chapter 1, The Red Moon. For the Red Moon Rose. Our story begins in Erebonia during the Middle Ages, some 200 years ago. The War of the Lions had concluded in western Zemuria, and Emperor Drycles, a driving force behind its resolution, had been deceased for over a decade. The imperial capital, Heimdall, was a beautiful traditional city with rows of cheerful red brick buildings that had earned it the nickname the Vermilion Capital. In one back alley of the city, however, a solemn mood reigned. Soldiers in military uniforms paced up and down, while a crowd of onlookers gathered to see what was going on. They clung to the edges of the scene, refusing to disperse, no matter how many times they were asked. At the center of the commotion lay a young woman. Her skin was shockingly pale, as if not a drop of blood ran through her veins. On her neck, 2 dark red spots stood out. in stark contrast to the pallid flesh. Seeing this, a middle-aged soldier let out a loud sigh and took out his pocket watch. It was just after 6. He gave a curt order to his subordinates to find out who she was, and the woman's body was swiftly carried away from the curious stares of the gawkers. After watching her safely borne away, he noticed a younger soldier following the woman with his eyes as well. Alphonse, he tapped the young man on the shoulder. The soldier started, seeming to realize that he was still on duty. Ah, sorry, guard. Somewhat flustered, Alphonse adjusted his beret, then hung his head apologetically, though snapped from his reverie. It was clear that he still had something on his mind. I believe I told you before to address me as Sir while on duty. I am your commanding officer, after all, Gerard said jokingly. With a fond pat on the shoulder, Gerard reminded him to stay focused and then left to give orders to the rest of his subordinates. Alphonse quickly returned to his post, silently grateful for Gerard's characteristically thoughtful gesture. Watching this exchange was another young soldier, the same age as Alphonse. Scowling unpleasantly, he gave an audible tut. The girl's untimely demise, though shocking, was but one in a series of grisly murders that were the talk of the town. Most of the victims were young women who had been out at night, and they had all met their ends through loss of blood. Or, put another way, the victims had died after having all their blood drained from their bodies. Furthermore, all of the bodies which had been found had something else in common. Each had bite marks on their necks as if they had been pierced by incredibly sharp fangs. Didn't take long for word of this to spread among the people of Heimdall, and all who heard the rumors were quick to think of one of the many ancient legends which existed in Erebonia. Specifically, the legend that described immortal, monstrous creatures which roamed the land at night, feeding on the blood of humans. It was these very legends that eventually became the inspiration for the mass killings. New moniker, the Vampire Murders. That night, after his duties were complete, Alphonse made his way to a small tavern tucked away in the corner of the capital by the name of Allegria, to enjoy a late evening meal. As he sat down to his dinner, a pretty girl near his own age with a glossy chestnut ponytail studied him with obvious concern. "So how is it, Alfie? Is it nice? I hope so." "I'm pretty happy with how it turned out." The girl, Luca, had been Alphonse's friend since his arrival in Heimdall about 10 years before. A shy, nervous smile tugged at her lips as she continued to watch him. Alphonse felt a hot blush creep up his neck under her intense gaze, but he forced himself to eat. The beef stew she had made had a simple yet comforting taste to it. "Yeah," he assured her, "it's really good. You've really gotten the hang of this." Luca relaxed at his words, and with a few quick, self-conscious glances at the rest of the tavern customers, she seated herself opposite to him. Her courage seemed spent after this gesture, though, and they sat in awkward silence for some time until she managed a hesitant, "How's work going these days?" At the word work, Alphonse's hand, which was carrying food to his mouth, instantly came to a halt. Despite the so-called vampire murders going on for quite some time, they had been unable to find a single clue to the culprit behind it all. The corpse of the woman from that afternoon flashed across his mind's eye, and the pleasant flavor of the stew died on his tongue. So young, she must have had a family, friends, perhaps even a partner, just like anyone else. She had had her whole life ahead of her, and yet that life had been brought to a sudden end, just like so many others before her. What the criminal had done was unforgivable, but the reprehensible nature of the crimes wasn't the only reason that Alphonse was obsessed with the case. Though sadly for him, there was very little that he could do to solve it now that he had been removed from the investigation team. Luca's soft voice brought him back from his thoughts. Alfie, just don't go overdoing it, okay? Her kind words made Alphonse realize how tense his expression must have become. Her concern embarrassed him. I'm fine, honestly, he said in what he hoped was a reassuring voice. Alphonse was a member of a unit of the Imperial Army popularly known as the Gerard Team, which was responsible for maintaining law and order in Heimdall. Gerard, the team's commanding officer, had long cared for Alphonse like a father, and it was his recommendation that led Alphonse to join the army and become a member of the team. Since then, he lived in a dormitory near the army's guardhouse. His meal at the tavern finished, he sketched Luca a quick goodbye and took his usual route back towards the dormitory. An eerie, red-colored moon hung full on the sky, bathing the brick buildings in a bewitching carmine glow. Walking along, Alphonse couldn't help but notice that the number of people on the streets at night was much smaller of late, considering the culprit behind the vampire murders still hadn't been found. That was hardly surprising, though, and yet despite the fact that barely anyone dared to take this to the streets, new victims kept appearing one after another, as if to mock the soldiers who patrolled in the dead of the night to keep them safe. The sense of fear in the city increased by the day, and was deep unease shared by all, even the soldiers. Silently, he swore to himself yet again that he would stop at nothing to catch whoever was responsible and bring them justice. Suddenly, Alphonse stopped in his tracks, his troubled thoughts interrupted by the sight of an unaccompanied woman walking ahead of him. The deep shadows blanketing the path made it difficult to be certain, but she seemed unsteady on her feet. To his further surprise, she then turned and disappeared down an even darker back alley. Considering the ongoing vampire murders, it was hard to believe that anyone could be so careless. With a resolute air, Alphonse set about following the woman, determined to call out to her and try to prevent her from coming to any harm. He entered the back alley. Gloom obscured all but the sharpest of angles. He squinted, willing his eyes to adjust. The soft outline of a woman's back took shape in the depths of the alley. "Excuse me, miss, I'm not sure it's wise to be—" Alphonse forgot what he was going to say. Something was wrong. Slowly, the woman turned to face him. Her head hung limply to the side, long hair masking her face. A hint of eyes could be seen through the wild locks, but they held no focus, no awareness. She opened her mouth and moaned. Horrified by the disturbing figure before him, Alphonse froze. In an instant, she was on him. Arms outstretched, she lunged and seized his neck in a crushing grip. Taken completely by surprise, he fell backwards, the weight of her pinning him down. Slowly, methodically, she began to squeeze. "Gah!" he croaked. How could that seemingly lifeless woman be capable of such unnatural strength? No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't pry her hands from around his windpipe. All his training, his useful strength, none of it seemed to count for anything against those unyielding claws. Her fingers dug deeper still, and the already painful absence of air became indescribably agony. From his low vantage point, Alphonse was able to see more of the woman's face now. It swam in and out of view of his oxygen-starved brain, but her pale flesh was almost luminous against the darkness of the night. Her lips were chapped and colorless. As she squeezed, they began to part in a hungry leer, the edges splitting. Dinner. Although Alphonse could barely understand what was happening, his instincts knew exactly what the woman was about to do. He bucked and writhed desperately in her grip, but her hold was too great. Black began seeping into his vision. Even as he remembered the saber belted to his waist, he was too weak to draw it. The blank-eyed woman thrust her face eagerly towards his neck, teeth bared and mouth yawning wide. Alphonse began to close his eyes. Death seemed his only choice. But just then, the world in his fading view exploded. That is just chapter 1 of that story. A lot of these books do end up serving a purpose, and this book in particular does not serve a purpose yet. It will not serve a purpose for a long while, though, unfortunately. So, now that we've gone through that part, next up, we are gonna go to here. Man, the weather's perfect today. Fish are really gonna be biting today. Looks like he's a student from one of the upper classes. Hey there, I haven't met you yet. You've got one of those red uniforms on, so I guess you're from Class 7? That's right. My name's Rean Schwarzer. Are you a first year too? Yep, I'm Kenneth Lakelord, Class 2. Part of the Imperial Fishing Club. It's really laid back. You'd like it. But yeah, pleasure's all mine. Likewise, he's pretty laid back himself, especially for a noble. I take it the Imperial Fishing Club's about fishing? You catch on quick. Trist is supposed to be a great place for fishing. I hear there are a ton of different fish you can catch here. I'm just trying to figure out the right spot. Seems like you're having fun at least. You've done a bit of fishing in your time, haven't you? How about giving it another shot? Well, sure, but how'd you know that? Just a hunch. Well then, from one fisherman to another. See the fishing book, see the beginner rod. Sure I can have these? Feel kind of bad just getting all this stuff for nothing. Don't even sweat it. The Imperial Fishing Club's here to spread the joy of fishing, so it's all good. You'll be starting off as a white angler, but don't think too much about it. Just fish away to your heart's content. Oh, what? Just ignore that for now. It's not all that important. Oh yeah, once you've started landing some big catches, come back and talk to me. I'll trade you some cool prizes for your points. Prizes? Points? What's going on? Now that that's all explained, it's time for me to head off. I've got some fish to catch. I'll be fishing at the pond on campus if you want to join me. I feel confused about some of the stuff he said, but oh well. Still, now that I have a rod, it wouldn't hurt to start fishing again. Let's see, label says it was made by the Lakelord Company. Wait a minute, isn't Lakelord his last name? His family must be pretty famous then, and I'd assume experts on fishing. If you end up seeing those ripples in the water, those are the fishing spots we will be looking for as we go through our journey. You're looking over there, right? Seems like it could be a decent fishing spot. Pond he mentioned is available too, so maybe I'll give that a shot when I have the time. You can now view the fishing tab in your notebook. At fishing points, you can fish a set number of times by catching fish or an angler points, and the amount you get will be dependent on the variety and size of the fish you catch. Get fishing to earn more points. You can check how many points you have by choosing Note in the camp menu or pressing the touchpad and then choose fishing. Talking to Kenneth will allow you to exchange your angler points for items. As your angler rank increases, he will give you more items available for trade for. So with that, let's get fishing! We got 5 chances here. Let's see what we can catch. This is basically just button mashing right now. Early fishes are a lot easier to catch, but once you get later in the game, the fishes start to become a bit feistier. Catching fish can also reward good items if you're lucky. Keep fishing. These early ones, as I mentioned, are not really too much to worry about. But it's nice to use up as much of your fishing, as much of the fishing spots as you can, because the game does not necessarily tell you what fish you can catch where. So it comes down to you being lucky with what you fish up. And with that, we ended up getting a good chunk of Sepith from that, so... Next up, we will go this way. Back to the academy! And to start us off, we are going to go do this quest first. Hey there, good to see you. Oh, you're the person who was with President Toa when I first arrived at the Academy. You got a good memory. I'm George Gnome, second year, class 3. I'm also the head of the engineering club. You're Reen Schwarzer from class 7, right? Nice to meet you. Likewise. Toa told me that you're helping out student council. You've probably got a lot to learn about the academy since you've just enrolled, but good luck with everything. Thank you very much, but I am curious. This is an engineering building, isn't it? With all the machines and equipment around here, it certainly fits the bill. Yep, you can basically think of this as the academy's very own orbment factory. The engineering club has been in charge of maintaining orbments here for a long time. That's pretty impressive. I assume you repaired all the stuff you wanted me to deliver for this request too? That's right. I handle that stuff here at the engineering club too. I usually deliver them myself, but I'm a little too busy this month. Can I ask you to do it for me? Of course. So what do I need to know? Okay, here's the rundown. As you know, I need you to deliver 3 Orbital products for me. First up is this Orbital scale, which I need delivered to the cooking club. The club meets in the home economics room on the 2nd floor of the main building. Give it to the head of the club, Nicholas. Nicholas from the cooking club, home economics room. Okay, got it. The next 2 are both in town. So you take requests from people outside the academy too? Yeah, there was so much talk about this club that I started getting requests from people in Trista too. There's no reason for me to refuse them, so I do as much as I can to help them out. That certainly explains how you end up so busy. Sure does. Second delivery you need to make is this antique orbital lamp. This one's going to Micht at the pawn shop. You'll find it in the southeast part of the central shopping district. It's kind of out of the way, so keep an eye out. An antique orbital lamp for the pawn shop, understood. Last but not least, the final item I need to deliver is this orbital wristwatch. This one's going to Michael over at Radio Trista. Radio Trista is in the southwest of the central shopping district. Just let the receptionist know why you're there and she'll call Michael out for you. An orbital wristwatch for Michael from Radio Trista. Ask the receptionist. Right, I can do that. And that's everything. Let me give you the items themselves. Receive the scale, lamp, and wristwatch. I'll be sure to be careful. It's not going to be easy carrying all those around, but I'm sure you'll manage. Of course, I'll get started right away. Quest Orbital delivery begun. Okay, so the 3 locations are all fairly simple here, so let's show you where they are. Oh, that's Van Dyke. Infirmary. Hold on. I think it was actually the 2nd floor. Yeah, right here. Hey there, you wouldn't happen to be here to join the cooking club, would you? Not exactly. The engineering club asked me to deliver something for them. Is this what you've been waiting on? Green handed over the scale. Yep, that's the orbital scale I asked George to fix, alright. Don't know how he works so fast, but I'd really be lost without him. George's many talents aside, I didn't even know that tools like this existed. Pretty impressive, isn't it? These can provide more accurate and minuscule measurements than any analog scale. If you put a container full of ingredients on there, it'll even subtract the container's weight for you. It's handy. I would love an ingredient like that. Or scale like that, anyway. You don't have an interest in cooking by any chance, do you? Haven't given it much thought, to be honest, but I am kind of curious. I'll be cooking for myself from now on anyway, right? You'd be surprised at how many students here can't. Here's the thing, the cafeteria might be cheap, but it still costs more Mira than making it yourself would. Have you even tried to cook anything yet? Not yet. I don't even know where to start. Which means you're as virgin as my olive oil. If you want to start cooking, I'd recommend you start cooking. Just make something. Doesn't matter what. Tell you what, I'll even give you this to get you started. Recipe book. And to top it all off, here's a really easy recipe to get started on. So easy, I've got all the ingredients you need right here. Help yourself. Receive the recipe for a simple omelet. Receive 3 fresh eggs. Coarse rock salt. Thank you very much. The recipe book seems like it'll be a helpful companion. But are you sure I can have it? Sure, we got tons of them. If it sparks a fire for cooking in your heart, it'll all be worth it. Got it. I'll be sure to get some use out of it then. Well, thanks again for bringing me my orbital scale, and pass my thanks on to George for fixing it too. Will do. You can now view the recipe tab in your notebook. Now you can take ingredients and turn them into delicious food. You can receive recipes from various people, but that's not the only way to get them. You might find them while searching specific areas, cooking, or even just trying a new food or drink. You can use recipes and ingredients to make food by selecting Note from the camp menu or pressing touchpad and then choosing Recipe. List the recipes you own, required amount, current amount, and then you see there are the different types of dishes. There's superb, regular, peculiar, and unique. Unique dishes are the ones that only certain characters can make. However, you won't know which character can make a unique dish until after you end up actually making it. So trial and error with your ingredients is going to be the main thing. As you can see right here though, it basically tells you which character actually gives you the best results. And it looks like it says that it's Elliot for the simple omelet. So now that that's taken care of, let us now go here, back to Trista, and then start delivering the items. We got 2 items to deliver here in Trista, so let's start with this one. Welcome to Radio Trista. How can I help you today? Is there someone named Michael here? I've got a delivery from the engineering club, and ideally, I'd like to take it to him directly. As a matter of fact, we do have a Michael here. Let me call him for you. You can wait on the sofa over there if you'd like. Sorry to keep you waiting. You said you got a delivery from the engineering club for me? I do indeed. Here it is. Rain handed over the Orbital wristwatch. Wow, he really did fix it up. This is some pro-level work. We're starting up a new show tonight, so I was feeling all nervous without a quick way to check the time. Things will be fine, will be just fine now, though. I can imagine that it will be pretty intense. Well, you know, starts at 9 tonight, and if things work out, Radio Trista's guaranteed to see a pretty big increase in popularity. Which will mean I'll be one step closer to achieving my dream of... Oops, sorry about that. Shouldn't be getting all excited like that and boring you with my life story. Not at all. I'm of the opinion that being passionate about what you do is a good thing. This job's pretty much my entire life at this point, really. But if you want to make me feel more alive, tune into the show tonight. You bet. Well, I would if I had a normal radio. Well, I gotta get back. The sound producer's in there waiting for me. Normally I'd treat you some tea or something, but today's a really busy day. Tell George thanks for fixing my watch when you get back. Of course, good luck with tonight's show. Now we only have one more delivery to make. So now we go to the pawn shop, which is over here. Talk to this old fart. You got some business here, kid? Or are you just window shopping? I do, actually. I'm here to give you something from the engineering club. Oh, George fixed that thing already? Well, hand it over already, will you? Right. This guy doesn't seem too friendly. Green handed over antique orbital lamp. That kid does nice work. I swear, why does being a pawnbroker have to be such a pain in the ass sometimes? Who would have thought an item would break right after I paid for it? That's a pretty nasty surprise. Do you got a lot of students in here out of sheer curiosity? Fair few, sure. What, you looking for some money? I don't lend money to kids. You kids can think of this place as an exchange shop. So like items for items. Yeah, I think I got something in a while back that a kid like you'd like. It's yours, as a way of saying thanks for the delivery. Received a Blade deck. Blade? Is this a card game or something? Seems that way. Some good for nothing second year brought it in. Can't say I've ever bothered to play, but you can give it a try. Or don't. Or burn it, for all I care. I didn't pay for it. Thanks, that's really nice of you. I have this strange feeling that he just gave me this because he didn't have anywhere to put it, but oh well. Oh yeah, another thing. My shop's got the finest selection of curios in all of Trista. If you don't see anything you like, come back later. I change them to good sometimes. When? When I feel like it. Anyway, see ya. Thanks for the delivery and enjoy playing cards or whatever. Anytime. You can now purchase curios. At the shop, you can exchange certain items for rare or higher quality ones. You can also buy some of the items you might have missed in previous chapters as curios. And as for the card game Mick just gave to Reen, you'll be able to play that later in the game. As I'm sure you probably noticed because I pressed the X button a little too quick, his shop will update whenever we leave and re-enter. So hypothetically, if I bought everything that he had available, walk out, walk back in, his shop would reset. So, easy way to basically get simple ingredients for cooking that are usually monster drops. So now that we've delivered all 3 items, we now come back here. Seems like you're done with those deliveries, all 3 of them. Nice work. So now that you've finished delivering those, what did you think of the places you delivered them to? Well, they're certainly all unique. None of them are places I'd normally go either. I might have wandered into the home economics room eventually, but not the pawn shop or the radio station. Yeah, I don't think most students would. The pawn shop in particular is kind of hard to find too. Ah, that's true. But now I feel as though I have a general idea of where most of the main places of interest are thanks to this. It almost feels like this request benefited me more than it did you. Well, that's nice to hear. You spoke to Michael while you were at Radio Trista too, didn't you? Did he tell you anything about the new show they're starting up? He did. Starts at 9 p.m. tonight, doesn't it? Figured he'd mention that. He's thrilled about the show, and that enthusiasm is infectious. How about you? Planning on tuning in? I'd love to, but... Oh, don't have an Orbital radio? In that case, here, it's all yours. Received an Orbital radio. Wait, really? It's the latest model, too. Same one I've got. You helped me out big time today, so it only seems right to pay you back. Are you sure? Of course. Bought it for research purposes, but I never really found a chance to make any use of it. It'd be a waste to just leave it here collecting dust, so I'd be thrilled if you actually got some use out of it. If that's the case, thank you very much. You're welcome. Oh yeah, there's something I'd like you to tell the rest of Class 7 for me. Oh? Instructor Sarah came to me with a request the other day. Long story short, she left me in charge of doing maintenance on all of your Arcus units. No kidding, like I said, Engineering Club is basically Thor's Orbital factory, so yeah. And of course, I'm pretty interested in your Arcus units myself. So if you need help with anything Arcus related, just come visit me here and I'll sort it out. Good to know. Part of me feels bad adding to your workload, but it's a relief to hear that you'll be the one in charge of this stuff. That's quite the compliment. Ah, right. I also meant to ask. You know about Sepith masses, right? You mean the stuff the monster sometimes drops with regular Sepith? Exactly. Sure, you don't need me to tell you how handy regular Sepiths can be, but Sepith masses have tons of impurities, so they've never received much attention. But recently someone discovered a way to efficiently extract Sepith from them. Is that so? Oh, it's so. Thanks to that, most shops are willing to take them off your hands, at a decent price nowadays. There's no point in holding on to them, so go ahead and sell them if you find any. A little extra money never hurt anyone. Sounds like a good deal to me. Will do. I think I just about talked out for the day. Thanks again for all your help. Here's hoping we can keep exchanging favors. Ditto. Be counting on you. Quest complete. You can now make use of the Academy's Orbital Factory. At factories, you can use Sepith to unlock slots in your party's ordnance. To do this, modify, exchange, slot. If you don't have enough, the number will be red. Unlocking increases the character's max EP as well. Synthesized quartz, do the same thing. Sepith dropped by monsters, so if you're short, get out there and fight some battles. U materials to customize your weapons at an Orbital factory. Do this. Customize weapons. Customize. Required mirror. Required materials. To customize a weapon, you will need materials and a mirror. Furthermore, Sepith masses can now be exchanged for mirror within any shop's exchange menu. Regular Sepith can be exchanged too, but do remember that they're also used for synthesizing quartz and unlocking slots. Masses, on the other hand, are useless and can thus be freely exchanged for Mira. And so, like that. Let's see. You want to try to grab as many of these as you can as well. The Master Quartz are not easily grindable. So, if you miss them, you miss them. And I have a very weird habit of how I end up doing this. Whenever I go to one of these stores and I end up selling some of these, I have to have a number divisible by 50. If I don't, it somewhat bugs me just a tiny bit. So here's another Master Quartz we can buy. Scepter. We only see one ability. Obtain scepter from attacks or crafts. 30% chance. Not a bad one, so buy it. These are the things that we can end up creating using our Sepith at the moment. It's not much, but something that I will do. I really want to open some of these, but then the numbers are going to be off. Do that, that, that. And there we go. I put Reen's stuff at a decent way. And for Reen, I'm going to do that. For Elliot, that. And for Gaius, that. Customized weapon, we can easily do that right now with the weapons that we have, but it's kind of pointless to worry about that right now. That was a lot of work on my exhaust. Feels good though, kind of fulfilling. But now that I think about it, George might have made that request specifically for my sake. I feel like I know a lot more about Trista and the Academy now that I'm done. Who's that? If she's hanging around here, she must be a member of the engineering club, right? The big thing next to her wasn't there before. What could it be? Oh, it doesn't matter now. I've got other requests to finish. One big lesson when it comes to this game. Remember every single person that you end up encountering. Because almost every single person plays a major part in the game. And if not in this one, then one of the later ones. Here's Fee. The shade here is nice. Might be good for napping. If you end up looking here, you can see only one person has a current bonding event, and it is Laura here, but it's Machias over here. So, since we only have one more bonding point, we have to try to decide which one will we use that on, because once we move on to the evening, we will not have these 2 points, so it's best to use them when you got them. Right now, here we are, we can fish again. 5 more free fishes. And it looks like we just got another one of those. Oh, we got something different now. There is a gray crab. There's another sword tail.
Not bad.
And we got one more fishing that we can do. And it looks like what we got was a crab again.
Caught one.
And with that, we can no longer fish anymore. So, let's see what kind of things we can get from him. If you look here, you see that it says Swordtail Badge. A badge with a picture of a swordtail on it, and it's part of a set. A lot of items are parts of sets, so you want to try to keep your eyes out for unique items like these. Grab them whenever you can. It'll benefit you in the long run. Let's see. Next up, we will go and speak to Colette, who should be over here. Pardon me, you're Colette from Class 4, right? I believe you submitted a request to the Student Council? Yeah, I did. But you're that guy from Class 7. Did you join the Student Council when I wasn't looking? Nothing like that. I just decided to help them out with some of their work. Student Council President told me to handle your request. Oh, so that's how it is. Wow, we're both first years, but you seem so much more grown up than me. The people in Class 7 must be amazing. It's no big deal. So, you wrote that you need help looking for your student notebook. Yeah, I've been looking everywhere I could think of since this morning. But there's no sign of it. So does that mean you're going to start looking right away? They said that if one person wasn't able to help me, they'd send someone else to do it. I see, so that's how Toa has this all arranged. Well, except, sure, you can count on me. Thank you so much. Before we get too excited, I think I'll need a bit more information to have any hope of finding it. Can you tell me when you first noticed you dropped your notebook? It was right after school yesterday when I went to borrow a book from the library. You can't borrow books without your notebook. So I went to take it out and I couldn't because it wasn't there. Yesterday after school. Got it. So when was the last time you remember having it? Probably right when classes had finished for the day yesterday, when I was still in the classroom. I remember using it to take notes while I was talking with my friends, so I definitely had it then. I guess I must have dropped it somewhere between my classroom and the library. I see, that narrows it down quite a bit. Did you stop anywhere on your way to the library, though? Well, after I left the main building, I came here to the Student Union. Pretty sure I went to the library after that. That should be everywhere I went. Right, so there really aren't that many places where you could have dropped it. Best way to go about this seems to be to split up and search the main building and the area surrounding it, I think. That's just what I was going to ask you to do, actually. I'm hoping it's there because I searched the library from top to bottom this morning. And the rooftop's out because the janitor said he didn't notice it when he was doing his morning cleanup rounds. Main building it is then. So, do you think I should start with classrooms? No, I don't think you need to check them at all. I searched my classroom yesterday. I didn't go into any of the others. It's probably a good idea to focus on the halls and the rest areas there. I have a feeling that if it's in the main building, it's going to be on the second floor somewhere. Thanks for the info. I'll head over there and take a look around. You can stay here at Student Union or keep up your search. Okay, will do. Thanks for agreeing to help me out. Noteworthy loss. Now, this quest is very, very, very easy. All you have to do is talk to her, go to the main building, climb the stairs, and then quite literally just walk over to here. Because her notebook is sitting right here. How she ended up missing it when it's sitting right here on the couches, I do not know. Check inside just to be sure. Reen picked up student notebook, check the identification field. Unless there's another identical Colette running around, this is the one. She'll be happy to see this. I should get it back to her as soon as I can. Found Colette's student notebook. So now we go back to Colette. We bring it over to her. Did you find it? Yeah, assuming this is actually your notebook, why don't you check it just to be sure? Thanks. Rean handed over her notebook. Right, it really is mine. Oh, thank goodness. It's the only form of ID we students have, so it would have been awful if I'd lost it, especially since our instructor would have chewed my head off if I needed to get another one issued. Thanks so much for your help, Rean. I'm sorry, I'm just so relieved. I didn't know it was so important to you. Still, I'm glad I was able to help you out. By the way, where'd you end up finding it? Oh, you know the sofa's on the second floor of the main building that people use as a rest area? It was on one of those, just sitting there. Sofa's on the second floor. Oh, I guess I did relax there for a while. Come to think of it, I think I dropped it when sitting down once before. I heard it falling out of my pocket that time, though, so I didn't end up losing it. Why would sitting down do that? What pockets do you usually put your notebook in? Well, one of my skirt pockets, actually. That makes sense. A lot of the boys use their pants pockets, too. But you might want to try using your jacket pocket from now on. It's not going to fall out of there. That's where I usually put mine, and I've never had any problems. Jacket pockets? We got those? Well, I don't know if the girls' jackets are different than the guys' are, but I don't see why it would. Hold on, let me check. Oh wow, you're right. I had no idea this was even here. There's no way my notebook will ever fall out of one of these. Thanks for the tip. That should solve all my pocket problems. Happy to have been of service. You've really been a big help today. This really doesn't make up for it, but would you accept this as a little token of my thanks? Received a silver chain. Accessory? Hold on, I couldn't possibly. Don't worry about it. I bought one for myself the other day, but I ended up ordering two by mistake. Really can't use both at the same time, so it makes sense to give it to someone else who might be able to do something with it. Well, if you're sure, thanks. That's my line. Well, thanks again for everything, Rean. Noteworthy loss complete. So, now that we got that, let us go back to Trista. We're going to get a character note now from right here. Oh, is that a recipe book you have there? You must be one dedicated chef to walk around with something like that. Wish I had that kind of focus. Don't know if I'm that dedicated, but it seems like you're a little down about cooking in general. What's wrong? Well, the students at this dorm have rather extravagant palates. Meanwhile, I'm only capable of making what they deem commoner food, which they quickly tire of. I fear for my continued employment if I'm unable to improve my cooking skills and make food that fits their tastes. Being a maid sounds like hard work. Is there any way I can help? How about this? Could you bring me along some unique dishes? Unique what now? A dish made by someone so skilled that it becomes a true standout. Truly unique, a shining testament to cooking as an art. Bearing witness to such incredible dishes may be an effective way to learn more about cooking as a whole. I am well aware of how shameless and massive this request is, so if you wish to decline, that's fine too. Don't worry about it, I'd love to help you out. I'll be sure to bring you any unique dishes I come across. Thank you very much, you're a true gentleman. So, before we go into the next part, which we're probably going to finish the stream as soon as we make just a tiny bit more progress, we are going to do some shopping! See if there's anything special that we can grab. Accessories, prevents poison, prevents seal, prevents mute, prevents blind. This can be a very useful item, but personally, I think it's absolute garbage. Just because of the fact that it breaks right away afterwards. Which means that once it's broken, you cannot use it again. And you have to spend another 1,000 just to buy another one. No, thank you. Now, if I'm going to be getting anything, though, I would rather get some of these items because they look like they'd be a lot more helpful. We're going to do one more bonding event, and then we will go to... Oh, shit. He clearly has nothing really of value. Since it really does not matter which bonding event we do, I am going to go and do this one. If I can remember where the hell this chick is. There she is. Good day, Reen. Have you come for a swim too? Not quite. Surprised the swimming club is active at this time of the year, though. Well, it's true that winter swimming isn't for everybody. The water is rather chilly, but I think it makes for good training. How did I know you'd say something like that? Should I stick around a bit longer? Spend time with Laura? Yes. Would it be fine if I just hung out and watched the club for a while? You'll get no objections from me. In fact, you came along at the perfect time. I was just about to test my short-distance swimming speeds. Do you think you could record my times? Sure, I can do that. Goal. That took you 22.34 seconds. Just a so-so time. So-so? You tore across the pool. If I didn't know any better, I'd say you were part fish. Let's not go overboard. If I'm a fish, my father is a dolphin. In fact, he could probably outswim one. Maybe, but he's a Radiant Blade Master. His swimming prowess doesn't make yours any less impressive. No kidding, I could hardly take my eyes off her while she was in the water. Is there a reason you're staring at me? Oh, no, don't mind me. I take it swimming is a specialty of yours then? Perhaps more habit than specialty. Legram is located alongside a lake, and I used to swim there in the winter to train. It seems that doing so has slightly improved my swimming in general. Don't know if the word slightly applies here. Given your upbringing, I initially assumed that you'd join a more combat-oriented club, but I see now that even swimming can contribute to your training. That's the hope. My father once told me there are things about the sword we can only learn by stepping outside of its shadow. I had every intention to put those words into practice upon entering this academy. Your dedication to the sword doesn't surprise me. The way it influences so much of your life seems very... you. To be honest, I'm a bit jealous. There's no need for that. You have your sword. You can do the same. I guess you're right. Forget I said anything. I see. Regardless, thank you for timing me. It seems I'll have to train even harder from here on out. Best of luck. I know you can do it. Your bond with Laura strengthened. So now that we did that, excuse me, Principal. I'm Reen Schwarzer of Class 7. Ah, good, good. I've been waiting for you. This man is tall as fuck. He looks even bigger up close than he did at the entrance ceremony. He must be, what, 2 arch tall? Towa tells me you've accepted my request. I truly appreciate you taking time out of your free day to assist me in this. It's no problem at all, sir. So you're looking for someone to further investigate the underground area of the old schoolhouse? Precisely. And I couldn't have found a better man for the job, considering your class was down there so recently. Incidentally, it was Sarah who insisted on making use of that trap door, not me. I probably should have tried to stop her, however. Please do accept. Oh, not at all, sir. You have no reason to apologize. I kind of already figured she was behind it anyway. I mean, it stands to reason. Getting back to the matter at hand, there are a number of interesting stories regarding that old schoolhouse. That gargoyle you fought is just a drop in the bucket, all told. Now that you mention it, I did get the distinct impression while fighting it that it was no ordinary monster. It was almost as if, indeed, almost as if it weren't a monster at all, but a demon. Perhaps the word fiend might fit. In our experience, if left alone, it will always regenerate to its original statue form eventually. Really? Yes, and as a result, the area has long been used by students in tests of strength. But in the past year, many strange alterations have begun occurring there. I've received reports ranging from doors opening out of nowhere to strange and eerie voices from the darkness. I see. So you'd like me to go and investigate whether there's any truth to these reports then? If possible, yes. Specifically, I would like since last month. Qualified, given your prior experience down there. I suppose that's true, and I'd be happy to undertake this mission. Though if that gargoyle has regenerated, things could get a little tricky. If that turns out to be the case, I would have no objection at all to you turning back. I should also stress that I'm making this request to Class 7 as a whole. By all means, do ask your classmates for assistance. I'm certainly not expecting you to go it alone. Oh, understood. I'll do just that. Splendid. I believe you'll be needing this then. Obtain the old schoolhouse key. It's a key to the front doors of the old schoolhouse. Best of luck to you, and please be safe. Thank you, sir. So with that, we now have the key to the old schoolhouse, and that also means we can now go there for training. As of right now, though, it looks like once we get there, the stream shall end for the night. So let us hurry on in. The front doors are locked. Once I start exploring this old schoolhouse, I get the feeling I won't have any time left to do anything else today. So before I go in, I should check and make sure I've taken care of everything else on my to-do list. After you finish exploring the old schoolhouse, the time of day will advance to evening. As a result, all daytime bonding events and quests will expire. Use the key. There we go. I wonder if anyone else might be interested in exploring this place with me. I should try calling them. You can use your Arcus to call other members of Class 7 for assistance in investigating the old schoolhouse. However, some characters will only be available to help after the story has progressed a bit farther. As you can see, as of this point in time, the only characters we can use are Gaius and Elliot. Finalize the party formation. I can't believe we're coming back in here again. I really don't think this is a good idea. Well, that's because it probably isn't. And neither of us would blame you one bit if you turn back. It's not too late. No thanks. I'll come with you. We've got that practical exam next week after all. I need to familiarize myself with this orbital staff as much as possible before then. Besides, if I turn back, I'd just wind up worrying myself sick about the two of you. Well, that's very kind of you. Thank you. There are only 3 of us, though, so we'll each need to watch the others' backs and proceed with caution. The underground area should be just through the main door, correct? Yes, that should take us right to the room where we fought that stone gargoyle. Best to go that way rather than falling through the trapdoor again. No arguments here. I really hope that thing hasn't regenerated yet. And with that, though, I say we finish off the stream right there and be prepared for next time, for we shall be exploring the old schoolhouse for a second time. But, just like any other time, feel free to step into the light, but don't be afraid to return to the shadows. Thank you all for watching, and see you all next time. Goodbye.